Do you have instructions? Mr. Stedico, are you ready to start?
Yeah, front row is always the best.
Oh, the front row is the best. It truly is in life. If you're brave enough to sit in the front row, you get to see everything.
I'll remember that. I'll remember that.
Okay.
It's not right at all. We heard this when we start.
You really, wow. Wow, I mean, I think we need to know more about you. Yes, we need a report. We need a Valentine's Day report, please. All right, 30 more seconds. He has a death in the family, so. Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order. I would like for the record to show that Councilmember Aguilar is excused today due to a death in the family. Councilmember Armitage?
Present.
Councilmember Lopez?
Present.
Councilmember Navarrete?
Here.
Councilmember Estatico?
Present.
Vice Mayor Alonso?
Here.
And I am present. We do have a quorum. I'd like to invite Emma up to the podium to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everyone would please stand, and then Chaplain Van Gorp will lead us, remain standing through the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The scriptures tell us in Psalm 78:72 that David led and guided the nation with skillful hands by the grace of God. Lord, we thank you for enabling us with wisdom and insight to lead our community. You have planted within us the skills necessary to guide our city. We are truly blessed because you show us what to do and how to do it. Thank you for helping us to do the right thing for those who call Superior their home. In Jesus' holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please remain standing for a moment. We'd like to honor firefighter Rob Canby, who passed from cancer last week. Shall we have a moment of silence? Amen.
Okay. It's okay, it happens. It happened to me today, actually, too, so don't worry about it. We're going to move on to special presentations tonight. And our first presentation of the evening is the fire department will present 2 new fire captains, a reserve fire captain, John Allison, and full-time fire captain, David Klinkenbeard. And Chief, are you here?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have 2 more captains to the fire department, part of our team, and I'm going to introduce you to them. First up, I want to introduce you to Captain John Allison. Captain Allison was hired in 2009, became a paramedic in 2011. He's been on the fire department for 11 years. Lives in town, does a great job for us. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Next, we Captain David Kippenbeard, hired in 2008 as a reserve firefighter EMT. He became a paramedic in 2011. Full-time with Superior Fire Department in 2016. He's been with us for 12 years, does a great job, guides his community. Both these guys are good help for my management team. I think it's going to work out great for both of you guys.
Chief, thank you very much for introducing our new captains, and we really appreciate everyone's service. I was speaking with one of our longtime residents, and they were sharing with me how professional, they had recently had an interaction where they needed some support at their home, and how professional and helpful, and it's really, they really were very appreciative of that particular call and what happened, so that's very good to hear. So thank you all, and for keeping the integrity high in our fire department. So
Thank you.
Council, do you have any other comments?
Take a picture.
I didn't, we do need to take a picture. Jim, can you take a picture?
Who wants that?
Well, we'll let Jim pick where, so we can get it in the paper. Yeah, just do it right here, we'll all stand. Yeah. Can you see everybody?
Down this way a little bit. I'm trying to get behind John's head.
Okay, let's see, now we need to zoom. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Say fire.
Good job, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you again and congratulations. I do unfortunately need to read a proclamation. On Sunday, we were informed of our former firefighter Robert Canby of passing away, and so as mayor I can order the flags or town flags at half-staff, and so I'm going to read the proclamation that ordered that. The town of Superior mourns the loss of firefighter Ron Canby, who passed away on February 8, 2020. His passing reminds us of the dangers that law enforcement officers and first responders face every single day. We're eternally thankful for his courage and dedication, and thankful to every hero who serves. Rest in peace, firefighter Canby. Superior's prayers are with your family, friends, and colleagues during this difficult time. In honor of firefighter Canby's life and service, I, Mila Vesich, Mayor of the Town of Superior, have ordered flags at half-staff at all town buildings be lowered to half-staff effective immediately until February 13, 2020. So it's something that we do to recognize the service of our firefighters. And so thank you once again, and thank you Chaplain Van Gorp for doing a moment of silence. So again, our condolences to the Canby family. We're going to say for the next meeting or for their celebration a proclamation recognizing Superior Lumberyard and retired owners Arnold and Margaret Salazar. We had some scheduling issues, and I believe there's a big celebration being planned for them, so we may just push that to then. Tonight's a milestone moment. We have our team from GLHN, and I'm so glad to have so many members of our youth, of our community here tonight, because this is very exciting. GLHN architects will be presenting the final version of the schematic design, plans and renderings for the Superior multi-generational facility. This will mark the end of the schematic design and transition into design development phase. For additional information, you can visit our website on this project, which is the superior-mgc.info. This is a very big milestone, because I was reminded on Facebook that it was a year ago this week that we actually signed our agreements with Resolution Copper that's funding our abilities to get to this point on this project. So I think that's great teamwork. It proves that we did not waste any time to get this project rolling. And I believe USDA is just waiting to start cutting some checks so we can move maybe a little bit faster even. Not that we want to do that, but they're very eager to be involved. So I'm going to turn the floor over to our team at GLHN, because we're all anxious to see this. So it's a milestone day. Thank you all for celebrating with us today.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Russ. I'm with GLHN. So what we're presenting today is the result of some workshops and some working sessions with the town. We've had a couple of sessions. We based our design on programming. It was a couple of months ago that we presented the program to you guys. So our last meeting, we presented the plan. This plan that we're actually showing here today has some changes to it, to the plan that we showed in the last workshop meeting. But to go over the plan that highlight the big areas, is the work. So different color areas represent different sort of program areas for the facility. Just to give you this part right here is the existing building. This is actually where we're sitting right now. This is the council chambers. All right. So this is one of the oldest building on the site. This is part of the second building, and this is the little music hall that used to be a music hall. This would be a brand new building as part of the plan, and we are going to be developing a courtyard here for public use as well. The color areas, this right here, the purple area is the senior center. These orange spaces are classrooms and dance halls and the Hall of Fame. The blue area is a collaborative work business area. The light blue area is the city offices and council chambers. The yellow right here is a maker space and a outdoor canopy welding shop. The reddish area is your new indoor public square / gymnasium. And this sort of ochre color here is the library, the new library. And then what doesn't show up on here, it's kind of hard because the colors get washed out, is in the public spare we have a outdoor public area. We have a sort of gathering area with a water feature and fire pit. We have a stage for bands. We have raised terraces and outdoor sort of what we're calling relaxation areas. Our goal is to have various vignettes of different types of seating out there and gardens, such as a hummingbird garden, butterfly garden, a succulent garden, and we're actually even trying to propose, because we know how big prickly pears are to your community, a prickly pear garden. So that's all going to be part of it. Another big thing that you'll see is we're putting in a parking lot for all the extra people who are going to be coming here. Some of the changes that happened since the last meeting is that we did reorganize this plan a little bit to provide fire department access to the courtyard. We provided the hammerhead turnaround here. We also reworked the senior center to actually address some of the comments that the senior center staff had actually mentioned that they would like to take place, and we did that as well. In order to make those changes, we actually had to tweak this building a little bit by moving it out a little bit and rotating it a little bit to allow that to happen with the parking and so forth. Now, I'm going to show you some renderings. I just want to make a preface that these renderings are only massing models. There are no materials shown, and the form of it is just basically general. It's just to show you some relationships between the new building and the old building and sort of what's happening with the courtyard, all right? Parts of the courtyard are still in flux, but I just want to make that so no one freaks out and says, oh my God, it's a big white building, because it's all white, okay? So, and then also in the building, I forgot, is that we're going to have an upper walking track. There is going to be a second floor, an upper walking track, a game room, a couple of exercise rooms, and some general public meeting areas, which will be for the library use as well. Okay? So back to the rendering. So our goal here is to present sort of a facade that can be seen from almost the majority of Superior. All right? We're envisioning that this facade, that this facade will be able to be seen from US 60 and a good portion of the town of Superior. It's to be a billboard. This right here is going to be some kind of screening element to help screen some of the windows from the southern sun. And like I said, we want to be able to see the town of Superior text and logo from US 660. This would be the main entry right here. And over top of the main entry, we're calling this the observation deck. And we're hoping that from that deck, we'll have pretty much 180-degree views of picket post and Patch and Leap and the rest of the mountains surrounding Superior. The courtyard side, or the northern side, is more open to, with windows. These are all windows up here around the walking track, so as you're walking, you'll be able to look down at the courtyard with the light landscaping. We are trying to provide the courtyard to make it secure so that it can be monitored and watched for people, so we can close down, or if the occasion arises, this facility can have one point of entry. So that one point of entry can be controlled, all right? We're trying to save as much of the existing landscaping, a big, huge pine tree that's already currently out there. The existing buildings, we are planning on restoring those buildings by putting, restoring the windows in those buildings by putting all the existing windows or fenestration back in those buildings to provide light and space into the existing spaces. We have this image, though it's not really we haven't really realized it correctly yet in these renderings, but the fire pit, we know how important the smokestacks were to the town of Superior. So we want to try to make this fire pit a representation of the smokestack. So if you think of we're going to try to do something interesting out there that, it's not going to be as tall, it's not going to be that tall, okay? But it will be something which the community can reference to and as a remembrance to the smokestacks. But it's also supposed to be a gathering space in the courtyard. So that's another view of the fire pit. And then what we're trying to do is the fire pit at nighttime, and then we're going to have a water feature that just provides the sound of water inside the courtyard. We're also going to provide a stage so that if you have bands for special events, they can actually take place out here as well. And this gives you an idea of all the different types of landscaping. We want every little garden to be sort of different. So we're going to, like I said, we'll have a succulent garden, we'll have a prickly pear garden, we'll have a butterfly garden, and we'll have seating within inside those small gardens. And that is it. Any questions?
For those zombies that were walking there, they're kind of pale.
Like I said, everything was just white.
And I actually have a serious comment on the bandstand. One thing we want to probably make sure if we're thinking about having bands there, they use a lot of electricity. They'll need a lot of outlets and that kind of stuff.
Yes. And we are actually considering that when we're replacing it. It's right, if you look at the plan, right now, that band is right behind your chambers, and we know that there's electricity over there, because that's where we actually currently have your condenser and stuff like that.
Because they, like a regular band, they can have several amps and speakers and all kinds of sound type equipment.
We are planning, because part of the new buildings, we're going to bring in a new service, so we're actually planning to bring in more service to the building.
On the upside as well, we've just upgraded all of the circuit panels at this point in the building, so except for the oldest wing, it's all upgraded electrical.
About those, I don't know if you can answer, the classrooms that you mentioned, do we know what they could be used for?
But the plan is that there'll be multidisciplinary, so they can be used for multiple different things. So think of them as general large areas that can be for classes, or can be for gathering areas, conferences, anything that you need large space for. But they're not as large as this, but they're sort of medium-sized, sort of a little bit more intimate sort of crowd.
Would you explain this, please?
Okay, so now that we're presenting the SD, the next phase is really the fun phase. That's when we start looking at the structure of the building. How does the building, the fenestration, which are the windows in the building, work with the interior spaces? How does the electrical system, mechanical systems work? How do we run the ductwork in the buildings and stuff like that? And we start really digging into the details. You heard me talk about the library and the senior center. So we're going to start meeting with the library staff and the senior center staff to actually figure out what do they need. They're really details like how many people do they need sitting at the front desk, or how many shelving units do they need for books. And then in the senior centers, we're going to have to lay out a commercial kitchen. So we're going to lay out all that equipment. All that is going on, and we're still working on the elevations in the courtyard to figure out how we're going to deal with the grade change that's existing out there, because we have to deal with retaining walls and so forth. How do we actually make the building stand up? What does the building look like? What materials are the building made out of? That all happens in the next phase. That's called design development. After that, we head into construction documents. So those are the next two phases that we're looking at.
Very exciting. Council, do you have any further questions or comments?
I have a comment. I just wanted to say thank you. I wasn't able to make the meeting, I think it was the 30th or 31st, but when you presented the three, I think this is a good combination of the three. I think you guys have done a really, really good job. And I'm impressed, I'm very excited for this project. I did have a question. From how would a handicapped person from the parking lot get to like the offices, like to the finance office? Because I'm just noticing that I see stairs maybe, but maybe not a clear ramp, like a clear path.
So what's not really illustrated, it's kind of hard to see up here, but I'm sure you have a plan in front of you, is that we have a couple of handicap spaces located here,
Right.
and a couple of handicap spaces located over here. It is also anticipated that there will be some off-street parking here and some handicap spaces off the street. So what we've done is for sake of argument, let's say that the complex is during the middle of the day and all the doors are open, all the gates and stuff like that are open. So the person can have a couple different options. The handicapped person can park off of Loeb Street here. There is an existing ramp and stair off of here that we're going to redo. And they can come down and get into the office. One of the things that we have to fix is if anybody, after you leave here, you'll notice that there's a couple steps right outside that door, right? So we have to fix that. We have to grade those steps and get rid of them. But then our ultimate plan is to get to those steps either through this way. There's this long sort of winding or curving there. That's going to be a ramp, okay? So someone coming in through this way can go up through here. If they can't get up the steps, they can go around and go up the ramp this way, or they can go up the ramp this way into here. So there's going to be a ramp there as well. Now, also over here, people parking here, they have access to the senior center through a series of ramps and grading over here. Or if this is open, they can come this way, get up these ramps and come here. Now, for when the facility is locked down, you're only dealing with one point of entry. That one point of entry is right here. So you basically, the handicapped people coming through this way, they are monitored by the one check person here at this desk, and they can go through that building and then up the ramp into the rest of the building. We are still working on the ramps. One of the conditions is if anybody goes out after this meeting and looks, from your front door right here, you can see how far or how dramatic the site falls away from that front door. If you could have picked the worst spot to put your front door, that was it. Right? We have to deal with that. It's almost 6 to 7 feet of drop between the parking lot and that, where we're planning the parking lot and that front door. Now think of a handicap ramp. That's a long ramp.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to cope with and deal with.
So isn't the idea also that seniors can get to the senior center off of Porphyry?
Yes, and that is done, is we're actually going to restore one of the entries here, so there will be parking along Porphyry, and that entry point is actually flush with the existing sidewalk out there. So we will probably have to redo some of the sidewalk out there to make the sidewalk handicap accessible, because if anybody's walking down Porphyry, that sidewalk is about a foot high. Right? That's a pretty good jump for somebody in a wheelchair, right? So we're going to have to put a ramp in there or something to actually make that accessible.
And I would imagine you're putting in security cameras all throughout the,
We'll put in as many security cameras as you want.
especially, guys with beards.
You also guys with beards? Oh, beards. Beards. That's like,
You're just guys with
The beer thing was self-incriminating though.
Or to catch leprechauns coming in.
They have gold.
any other questions?
Any questions from the public or staff on this? I just want to thank again our team with GLHN. You guys have been amazing, and I think, what you guys turned around to make this project what we needed it to be. And I know Todd really appreciates it, because when he sent me a text and he said they got it all right, that is a high standard to get. When Todd says it's beautiful, it's good to go, then you've met all of the extreme challenges that Superior puts everyone through. So thank you all. Chief?
That's not a question. I'd like to get with you, planning more on fire access, hydrant placement. I get with our fire
We did
marshal.
go over a little bit that in the last meeting, and we do know your request.
He was here last.
We do know your request of where to put the fire extinguishers, and the reason why we have that sort of, we reworked this area was to be able to get, and this parking lot was to be able to get the fire truck in here, and then be able to back it out and get back out.
Okay.
If everybody remembers, this whole parking lot was pretty much different than last meeting, and we reworked it for fire truck access.
Well, once again, thank you. This is a milestone day. Thank you to our partners at Resolution Copper and Heston. Thank you. can report back that we were very appreciative, so
I
we're
will meet with you anytime that you.
moving right along in all of our projects. We're going to go into staff reports. I have a few updates and then a special presentation. Todd, myself, and Mr. Schenk, Jim, we were at the governing hearing today, or the governing committee meeting at the legislature, where they heard our blight bill on number 2705. It did pass out of committee with an 8-3 vote. Wasn't necessarily an easy debate. We were squeezed for time, but it is moving forward. The Arizona Realtors Association have requested some changes to the bill, nothing overly significant, but that did pose some opposition to our debate. And then there are, of course, legislators that feel that cities and towns shouldn't have very many abilities to enforce certain laws. So we're working through that. I'm really pleased with the work that we've done. On April 22nd, we are going to host our first ever State of the Town address here in Superior. We're very excited to do something like this. It's going to have a really fun theme. So more on that will be put out. We just talked about this at our recent meeting with our consultant, Ioana. I participated in a spring seminar at the U of A yesterday, which was part of what's going on in Greater Arizona through the College of Agriculture and Land Sciences. And they're doing, every 2 weeks, they're doing a seminar on what's going on in rural Arizona, everything from ecotourism to mining, environmental issues. So we were the first kind of kickoff to that discussion. And I also participated in the civics seminar series. They closed out with a series on a seminar on Greater Arizona today at Flynn Brown. So we've been really having a lot of opportunities to tell our story, and that's helping us to build even more partnerships across the board. One thing that I wanted to point out to everybody, because everybody might not see this, is we were featured in the Arizona Hike book, 228 of our favorite Arizona trails. And so Pinal County actually bought a very large ad, which they were going to do a whole segment, but they purchased a full page ad. Picket Post is in it, so we got a little extra play on that. But The Lost actually has its own story written about it. We're very excited. I'll pass it around. And then we also, The Lost and the Town bought an ad, and it's in the back of the book. So we're really excited because we're actually in big publications like this now. So that should bring some more attention to us. But most importantly tonight, we talked about our multi-gen center and it being a milestone moment. Facebook reminded me that it was 9 years ago yesterday that we opened our first segment of the Lost Trail, and that was the segment from the airport out to Picket Post. It was a very boring segment because it was mostly along the gas line, pipeline road, and a little bit in Pinal City, and you just kind of got there. And then the highway destroyed it, and we ended up with something even better because now we have the trail going through Arnett Canyon. It's taken us 9 years, but as of next Saturday, the trail will actually be fully complete. And it's all due in part to the work of our AmeriCorps team that's come, and I want to really give them a ton of credit, but also to Jim Schenk because he's really been a big mentor. He's been a team leader for all of us and really kind of helped out and fill some holes for Todd and I, and we really appreciate, Jim, all that you've done to represent our community, but also most importantly, I think you've made a big difference to all of these young people that are starting their lives. We hope that they come back because they've had such a great time here. And I don't know, in Superior we really pride ourselves on our kids and we do a lot of things for our young people. You heard you went to Optimist meeting and all of that, and we consider you part of us. You've done something on a very milestone occasion. You've met some of our council members, but I'd like for you to introduce yourselves, tell us where you're from, and also tell us what was the one thing that you loved the most about being here. So I will start with you, Alex. You can start. They should go up to the podium so everybody can hear.
Hello, my name is Alex. I'm the team leader of this crew. I'm from Rochester, New York, and being in this town has been incredible. I've never met friendlier people. It's definitely been a community where they offer any support they can, and anything we ask for, they'll give over to us. So being here has been great. The last 5 weeks have been amazing, and we're excited to be here for one more week.
Hi, I'm Michael Spencer. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. And the town of Superior, it's more of a home than my actual home, but I do like my normal home. There's just so it's a lot more homey than.
My name is Emma. I'm from Kentucky. I have learned more in this community than I have in, it's just been a really big deal. Everyone is really welcoming. I've learned a lot about how a community can support each other, and how a community can rebuild itself with a lot of really hard work and mutual support. And it's been a really beautiful experience, and I cannot thank you all enough.
I'm Katie. I'm also from Kentucky. And being in Superior has been a complete dream. I love this place, and everyone has been so generous and friendly. And I'm definitely coming back. My aunt's going to come back and walk the trail, so if you see her.
Hi, I'm Maggie. I'm from Wisconsin, and this experience has just been so amazing and fulfilling. I've learned so much. One of the things that surprised me the most is how willing everybody is here, teach you something new and share knowledge. And I just learned so much while I've been here, and it hasn't just been all hard work the whole time. Everybody's been teaching me things. And that's so cool. Thank you so much.
I'm Michaela from Massachusetts. I love how beautiful and unique the town is, as well as the people. This is genuinely the most welcoming community I've ever been to, so thank you for having us.
My name is Delaney, and I'm from Southern Delaware. I've loved being here in Superior. It's just been a really awesome experience. My favorite part, there's so many, but I love how close and small the town is, or you can just walk down the street and you see somebody you know. And even us being here for only a month and a half, I feel like I'm part of it. So it's really
Hi there, my name is Keisha, and I'm from Pennsylvania. As for my favorite thing about Superior, and I think this was particularly evident during the home tour, is that Superior is a community with a lot of class and a lot of character. And it's been an absolute delight to be with you all and to learn more about your community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello there. My name's Adrian. I'm from Bay Area, California, and I've loved being here in Superior. It's a really nice town with a lot of friendly people, and it's really nice to be here. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be building a trail, something I never thought I would be able to do, and all the skills I've learned here, and all the friendly people just supporting us, and they bought us a lot of pizza. Like today, again. I mean, guess we can't have enough pizza, so I appreciate that a lot from you guys. So thank you so much. This place reminds me a lot of back where my family is, so it's great to be up here in the canyons, especially all the views here and how beautiful the sunsets are, and just also the experiments with the weather with a little bit of rain, that was nice. So thank you very much.
Well, once again, we want to thank you all, and we do have some gifts for you in the back. In the bags, you guys can each take one. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, and we do have shirts for you. We should have given them to you at dinner, and Mr. Sadek was probably going to remind me of my ineptness, but that's okay. We're going to keep moving. But again, we really appreciate all that you guys have done, and we hope that you come back, and you know that once you've been here in Superior, it's kind of like always going to be your home. You're going to find, there'll be some place random, you're going to find somebody else who's from Superior, has a Superior story. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So we're glad to have had you here, and we'll still one more week, so. Oh, yes, we need to take a picture. So everybody stand up with the council, and we'll do this photo thing again. Jim is our expert photo taker.
Okay, this time smile. Thank you.
Jim, please do give that to the newspaper. This last newspaper was the first one that, since they've been here, that they didn't have a picture in the paper.
They were only mentioned in like 2 articles, but there was not a picture, so I don't know how that happens. But, anyways, we're going to move on with the consent agenda. You're all welcome to stay and watch us govern, or you're welcome to go back and relax, because we know we work you guys pretty hard. So we're, yes. Oh, Mr. Pryor, do you have anything on your manager's report?
No, other than the fact that these, we have contracted to get these lights replaced with LED flat panels so that you stop seeing the annoying things falling down from the ceiling. That should be hopefully in the next few weeks.
Thank you very much. We'll move on with the consent agenda. We need a motion to approval of minutes of special meeting on January 9th, 2020, approval of minutes of regular meeting on January 9th, 2020, approval of Arizona Department of Liquor License and Control Application License Type 012 Restaurant for Casa Doña Lola Restaurant, LLC, 649 West US Highway 60, Superior, Arizona. Approval of Arizona Department of Liquor License and Control Application for Special Events License for Francisco Valenzuela Moreno, Red Bear Outfitters, Inc. on Saturday, April 18th at Roses Flowers Deck, 203 Main Street, Superior, Arizona, 85173. Approval of Town of Superior alcohol permit for Olga Lopez Social Club de Damas for annual Richard Castañeda Horseshoe Tournament behind the Senior Center at 360 Main Street, Superior, Arizona, on March 14th, 2020, from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Approval to close Main Street between Magma Avenue and Kellner Avenue for the Superior Artisans Leslie Martin Second Annual Superior Arts Festival and Mural Walk on Saturday, April 4th, 2020, from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Asking for Main Street closure to expand the vendor capacity of the event and for safety reasons due to pedestrian traffic. Approval of contractor agreement between Via Verde Electrical LLC and the Town of Superior for Superior Vestige Park electrical installation. Town shall pay contractor as compensation for the work not to exceed $20,000. Approval of government service contract between the State of Arizona Department of Environmental Quality, ADEQ, and the Town of Superior. The purpose of this agreement is to provide through ADEQ Brownfield State Response Grant funding on behalf of the Town of Superior for an asbestos and lead survey of the former Roosevelt School. The site is improved property located at 199 North Lobb Avenue, Superior, Arizona, 85173. Total funds available for this contract shall not exceed $8,600 unless otherwise amended in accordance with Section 10. This funding is an initial amount of sponsorship from ADEQ on behalf of the grantee for this project. Town of Superior, request for proposal. The Town of Superior is requesting sealed proposals from qualified firms or individuals to purchase the industrial lot number 3 for the development of an industrial business. It is located in Superior Industrial Park at 3 Mesquite Drive, North US 60. Industrial lot number 3 is a 10-acre lot zone I2 general industrial. It is a developed lot with utilities available on the lot line and a 4-acre graded pad ready for construction. An appraisal to establish the fair market value dated January 11, 2020 set the appraised value at $415,000. Approval of grant agreement between the Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire Management, State Forestry, or State, and Town of Superior. This Community Challenge Grant CCG 19-108 is for the Legends of Superior Trail project. Compensation under this agreement shall be on a reimbursement basis and shall not exceed the total eligible cost for the project, and total compensation federal portion shall not exceed $15,000. Approval of intergovernmental agreement IGA with Pinal County Elections Department for the 2020 consolidated election cycle. Approval of agreement between the town of Superior and Laura Rivas for the social media services position. The cost will be $5,400, which will come out of the contingency fund. And then, of course, our department reports. Council, do you have a motion to approve the consent agenda? There's a motion by Vice Mayor Alonso. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Navarrete. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going to move on to new business, and now is a public hearing to consider the alternative expenditure limitation option home rule extension. And I would ask Mr. Pryor just to, well, I'll read it. I forgot. Actually, no, we're just doing the public hearing on the home rule extension. So this is allowing us to exceed our budget that the state gives us. It's a public hearing. So I now open it if anyone from the public or council has any questions or comments on allowing us to have a home rule election.
Mayor, if I can describe the general nature of the home rule election. Our home rule election allows us to spend only what we bring in. It doesn't allow us to spend anything in excess. We still have to have a balanced budget. It just allows us to use the money that we raise on town functions. The expenditure limitation without the home rule would be about $1.9 million. With home rule, it's about, the first year it's $7.5 million roughly. Without that, we cannot offer the same level of fire, EMS, police, public works, or any other town function, including libraries, pools, things like that. All of those would likely have to be on the chopping block if we do not if we do not get the home rule passed. So that's the factual analysis of what the home rule does and where the money goes. Again, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer any questions, or anyone from the public would like to speak on that.
We are in an open public hearing. Is anyone from the public wishing to address the council on this matter? Going once, going twice. There are no public comments. Council, do you have any comments or questions on this? Okay, no comments, so we will close the public hearing, and we have met our public hearing requirement. We're going to move on. There's no action to be taken on this at this time, so we're going to move on to agenda item B. Discussion, possible approval of resolution number 2020-616, a resolution of the Town of Superior, Pinal County, Arizona, supporting pending legislation regarding absentee landlords of vacant and abandoned buildings, and authorizing execution by the mayor of the supporting documents. The Town of Superior regularly deals with complaints regarding deteriorating vacant and abandoned buildings in and around town. A large percent of these buildings are owned by owners who are not residents of the town and are often dangerous and susceptible to fire, rain damage, mold, vermin, and other issues caused by lack of maintenance. Lack of maintenance of these vacant and abandoned buildings negatively impacts surrounding property values. The preservation and revitalization of these buildings is paramount in stabilizing the economy of Superior. This is a resolution that we will be sending to the legislature to show support. I did hear from the mayor of Douglas, and they are supporting us in this, and they signed their resolution last night. And our other communities around Arizona are also signing on to this in support. So a bit of a housekeeping, but we do need a motion and a second.
Make a motion to approve.
There's a motion by Councilmember Estatico. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Lopez. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And that's in reference to the bill I mentioned in my update earlier. Agenda item C, discussion possible approval of resolution 2020-617, a resolution in support of the National League of Cities Leading Together Cities agenda for the 2020 U.S. presidential election. Staff recommends approving resolution 2020-617. The NLC has launched its Leading Together 2020 Cities agenda in advance of the upcoming presidential election, which was created by a bipartisan task force comprised of 28 local leaders from around the country. The 2020 Cities Agenda lays out 4 principles and 4 priorities. that candidates for President of the United States should support prior to seeking the endorsement of local leaders. The 2020 city's agenda reflects local leaders' strong understanding of Americans' top priorities and concerns and represents an agenda for a strong, safe, and fair nation. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
There's a motion by Councilmember Statico. Is there a second? Second by Vice Mayor Alonso. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going to move on to agenda item D. Discussion approval of resolution 2020-618, a resolution of the mayor and the town council of Superior authorizing the setting of fees for town engineering services. The town of Superior periodically sets and adjusts fees for town engineering services pursuant to section 12-2-3 of the town code. The town of Superior hereby sets the hourly fee of $90 an hour for the following engineering services: civil engineering, engineering design plans for site development, including grading and drainage, finished grade design, utility plan and profile, including underground utilities, landscape plans, site sections and details, as-built plans, staking plan, finished grade, and staking points. An applicable sales tax and credit card use and processing fee of 2.5% will be added to the charges set forth above. A fee of $25 will be charged for any payment by insufficient funds. Council, do you have any questions on this particular agenda item?
How did we come up with $90?
$90 is just an average of the engineering fees we've been charged. It's less than the engineering fees we've been charged. It's also, if you calculate standby time and what it costs us for our engineer and what their equipment, everything, rental costs us, it's about, you have to also calculate standby time, which is about 50% of the time. So it's just about a cost recovery. This program does not make a profit. The engineering budget, I believe, is about $50,000, and I believe we bring in about $34,000 in permit fees, and that's even with our increased fees. So we're already losing money on the program. This is just a standardized, and when people come in, this is above and beyond permitting. People come in and they say, I want to build an addition on the house, but they don't have any plans, nothing on paper. They may have something on the back of the napkin. Our staff helps them develop a set of plans so they can have those to move forward with and get a permit. We do not give them an engineering stamp. It's not a practicing engineer. This is just a design assistance. If they want to take it and actually use it as a final engineered plan, then we'll have to get an engineered stamp on it.
So if they get a design themselves, or have someone design for, they bring it in.
They don't use this at all. This is just for people who come to us who need more help to develop the project. Rather than telling them to go to an independent agency and pay $200 an hour and have them do you a set of plans, we try to help them in-house as much as we can. They end up saving, it's a fraction, what we charge for this service is a fraction what they would pay for a private agency. And it's just a way to help our residents. And since we have an engineer in the office now, we want to make it consistent so that we're not charging different people different things. If we're going to offer the service, if we're going to charge for the service, we have to adopt a fee so we're being fair across the board.
Has quite a few people used this service already?
Yes, many.
All the time.
All the time. They keep you busy?
Our permitting is much more active than it's ever been in the past. I believe you're getting the reports and the engineering reports, and you'll see the sign-in sheets for the new permits are like 20, 25 a month, which is, we used to get 70 a year. So it's increased radically. That's part of the reason we had to transition away from using Wildan for everything. Last year we paid Wildan $160,000 in permit fees, and we brought in about $12,000.
Thank you.
Council, do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve resolution 2020-619.
There's a motion by Councilmember Armitage. Is there a second? There's a second by Councilmember Lopez. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going to move on to agenda item E. Resolution 2020-619, a resolution of the Superior Town Council approving the Form ABD authorizing the execution and delivery of a loan agreement with the Rural Community Assistance Corporation Program, delegating the determination of certain matters relating thereto to the mayor and town manager of the town of Superior, providing for the transfer of certain monies and making certain covenants and agreements with respect thereto, authorizing the taking of the transactions contemplated by such loan agreement and the resolution and declaring an emergency. Staff recommends approving Resolution 2020-619. The town of Superior has applied to the Rural Community Assistance Corporation for a loan from the authority's wastewater loan program to provide funds to design for the construction and improvements of the town's wastewater treatment plant, as well as payment of the town's proportionate share of expenses of administering the program, the project, and identified needs for the wastewater capital improvement project. Council, do we have a motion to approve?
I have a question.
Yes.
So is this us approving getting the loan, or is this still us
This is
applying for
the,
the loan? 'Cause I don't-
I'll be honest, it's the, I think, third or fourth time you've approved the same thing. The bank keeps asking for it in a different form.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, this is approving the loan for the $250,000 for design.
Okay. I move to approve resolution 2020-619.
There's a motion on the floor by Councilmember Navarrete, second, Councilmember Vice Mayor Alonso. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mayor, just for the record, this had an emergency on there. Was it in the intent of the motion and the second and the vote that this was to be passed as an emergency?
Yes. Discussion possible approval, a request for qualifications for building inspection services for the existing and new buildings. Staff recommends approving this RFQ. The town of Superior is seeking the services of a qualified building inspection firm to provide plan review and inspection services for the planning and building department. The contract is anticipated to start October 1, 2020, and will cover a period of 3 years with an option for renewal for 2 additional years. The town reserves the right to amend this contract for additional time if it is in the best interest of the town. And council, just a little reminder, this is coming up because we anticipate that Pinal County will no longer be offering us our building inspection services. And while we keep hearing different news one way or the other, we have to be we need to be prepared in the event that October 1st they do actually cut us off. So we're leaning towards it's more than likely that they will, and we're going to need to be moving an independent form. Does anyone from council have any questions or comments?
Question.
Yes.
Is this for quotes or are we going?
Request for qualifications. So we'll be getting what their qualifications are.
Okay.
And so we're not hiring anybody outright, but we're just getting the qualifications, kind of understanding where we're at.
Todd, how much money do you expect for this service, and where's it coming out of?
This is going to have to be, we're going to have to, in order to take on the program, we have to do 3 things. We have to adopt a new code structure. We have to hire we have to adopt a new fee structure, and we have to hire an inspection company to charge that fee structure. So the new fee structure should hopefully meet the exact cost of the inspection, which is the way it works with Pinal County now. We don't charge the fees. Pinal County charges the fees, so it's revenue neutral to the town. The money will probably come through town coffers then, so we will have to make sure the fees we're charging are sufficient to pay the contract.
Okay, thank you. I'll make a motion to approve.
So motion by Councilmember Estatico, is there a second? Second by Councilmember Armitage, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going to move on to agenda item H, discussion and possible approval of construction contract agreement between DBA Construction and the town of Superior. Staff recommends approving this agreement. This project consists of removal of the reconstruction of asphalt pavement at Stone Avenue in the town of Superior. The work to be performed and the pricing for the work are set forth in attached Exhibit A. The total proposal amount is $191,658. Her funds should be spent before June 30th. We were going to do this under the Pinal County contract, and now we're having to take this out on our own because there were some complications in getting the Church Street project going, so we're taking the lead in this work. We'll start first. Correct, Mr. Pryor?
That is correct.
All right, do we have a motion to approve? There is a motion by Vice Mayor Alonso. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Lopez. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. That concludes our business. We'll now move into call to the public. Is there anyone who signed in for call to the public? Okay. Leslie, you can go on up if you haven't signed in. Assuming no one probably has.
Hi, I'm Leslie Martin. I'm a resident of Superior. I haven't been to a council meeting in probably 4 years or so, and went to many of them prior to that, and I want to thank the mayor, the council, the town manager, Ruby, and anyone else involved. This has been the most professional and well-prepared council meeting I've ever been to, so thank you very much. It's great to see this happening here. So that being said, I wanted to tell you about a couple of things that are coming up. The Apache Mining Festival from the 13th to the 15th of March. And it's a great thing. I commend Superior for 32 years of this mining festival. I think it's important to our area. I don't believe there's another one in Arizona like it, maybe even the Southwest. So I think it's important. It's run by 100% volunteers, and it's presented by the Superior Chamber of Commerce. The second thing coming up is April 4th. It's an arts festival put on by the Superior Artisans. It's a private group. We did a kind of tentative start last year to see if there was enough support by the artists and artisans in the community, and there certainly is. So this year it's bigger and better. It'll be presented in partnership with the Historic Hotel Magna in Navarrete, which will be a great asset for us and great help. And we expect over 40 artisans to attend. This year will include more events for children to get families more involved in this project too. And I had one more thing, I think, about volunteers. I went to the senior center today, and I want to commend Connie Perez. I didn't realize what a great event she put on for the seniors there at the senior center. She's a volunteer, as I understand, and she brings relatives from Tucson to do it. And everybody had a great time, as they do at Christmas too. So I'm so glad to have her in our community doing this. Thank you.
Thank you. Were there any? Okay. Is there any? Mr. Shea?
So in the stuff that's happening, the 28th, we have a 100K run. It's going to start in downtown Superior. And if you haven't had a chance, go on YouTube, look up Aravaipa running. And very nice look at the town of Superior. And this group is very well organized. And this is going to bring Mayor, 250 people are signed up?
They opened registration within 24 hours. I think they had 72 registrants, and I haven't heard from Jamel. They were expecting it to grow quite to a large number. This is their first race that they're starting and ending in a downtown. They usually start somewhere out at a park or out in the desert, and this is their first race starting in a town. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah, so I talked to the organizer on Sunday. This year, they're not going to use most of the Lost Trail, but they will be in Aravaipa Canyon. The other thing is Lost has a breakfast tomorrow. It's our, what is it? Hash browns, history, and hiking. And this is Pinal City. And I think this is the biggest one we've had. I think we've got, what, 40 people signed up? 50? So anyway, lots of great things happening, and in April, I think we'll be inaugurating the Lost Trails. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Last call? Call to the public? Hearing none. Excuse me? Oh, Food Bank has a spaghetti dinner tomorrow night, and it's Second Friday, and there's some Optimists are having a beer garden tomorrow night. There's a lot of Valentine's Day activities tomorrow, everyone. We're going to move on to summary of current events before we adjourn into executive session. But I will start with Councilmember Armitage.
Don't forget your loved one for Valentine's Day.
Councilmember Lopez.
I just wanted to say or make a comment that the park on the highway is being used so much on the weekends, also during the week, but during the weekends, I think the kids and family out there really enjoying it. So, the town did a good job in getting that put together, so it's really appreciated.
Councilmember Navarrete.
I don't have anything, thank you.
Councilmember Statico.
Just want to thank you guys for being here. Enjoyed having you, so and getting to know you. Also, on last Wednesday, Superior Unified School District voted to hold an override election for this upcoming November election. It is not a new tax, but it's a renewal of an existing tax. So,
Vice Mayor Alonso.
Saying thank you guys for everything you guys have done to the trails and the community, and hearing where you guys came from and your stories was really nice. Good luck on whatever you guys do after this.
Well, thank you all once again, everyone, for coming, and thank you to staff. It's been a very, very busy few weeks. I feel like February is just zipping right by. It takes all of us working together, and I appreciate everyone and all that everybody's got going on right now. So thank you all. I do need a motion to go into executive session so we can do the review of Mr. Pryor and discuss his next contract.
I'll make a motion to go in executive session for no longer than 40 minutes with council, town clerk, and our town attorney and town manager.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Lopez. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We're going to go into executive session for no more than 40 minutes. We're starting a little after 8 p.m. They're on the chairs. They're either signing I was wondering. Hey, how are you? You're like coming with the mic. Then you'll be.
I'll talk to them. So I called him, and I texted my
Right, okay. No, I just heard about the very random and very... Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I was looking for Tom.
What a crazy day. What a crazy day. Well, hello there, we've engaged twice in 48 hours, so there you go. You know, that was really good. I was telling there's a Japanese restaurant in Apache Junction. Very early in the morning. That sounds about it.
Take the whole thing in.
Take what in?
This whole thing in for the mayor.
No, I plan not to.
I'm sorry. And Kearney, so if there's anything else where I missed something.
Okay.
You know, it's funny, in 2002, I came up here for, this would be because of copy. Part of this was me, I wanted us to catch up over here, but I should go online. So I came up here.
I was really, I like it.
Research old lanes.
I started see if I can find around every
Oh, that old
oh, come on here. And as we got better, we had one person, we kept growing. Now I think we interact with, so much more people. Yeah, it's working that.
No, but it's getting better. It's getting better. Even my little time here and what I've experienced with PD, I just noticed everything. Now the attitude is positive. People are happy. You can see it.
You can see people out there, like people say, oh, drugs, you know what, I've been in farm for years. It's been better the last 5 years, man. It's cleaning up. It's getting better. I like it, but it's good, man. I'm told these, whatever. Of course, we still have them, it's not my better what used to.
But we're lucky. For being on the freeway, you know, and having all these construction workers, we're lucky right now. I was telling Todd, I think when they build a motel here, whether it's a motel 6 or whatever they're gonna build, I know they're gonna have these contractors that don't have any buy-in in the community, just here to work, see, get drunk, you know? I know they're gonna have some, yeah, I know they're gonna have some problems for that.
I have more guys for you, man, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're gonna have some problems, man, but as far as the stuff in the community, yeah, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. I think we're lucky.
I'm gonna check this out.
It's nice. Yeah, you over there. I'm gonna be out here. Talk to you. Sure. See you tomorrow. Yeah, I told the guys. Okay.
I swung by, I heard all the chopper activity the other night, so I swung by. And it was just the truck and the helicopter, and that was it, nobody else was there. So, then they told me now the shipping channel, I just haven't checked out, so.
So, I mean, quite a few helicopters the last couple of days, like,
Yeah.
I don't know which one.
And they said that the one got recalled back to, it's where it came from because they had an emergency down there or something. So, the other one came in.
Sometimes it gets that right, you know.
So, yeah. So, that was pretty neat.
property, man.
By the way.
Yeah. This right here is a big deal. So this is us right here, this is you one, right?
See, here's golf course road, and then it goes over here. So this is the furlong.
That's good though. Thing is, start taking this over. We need fire department, we need stuff in place.
Yeah.
So just hopefully we'll have a good place. That'd be great. So we can build on that.
Absolutely.
That'd be great. Hopefully. We'll see it. Yeah. All right, we'll see you later.
Okay.
Been carrying this around, and I forget it when I need it.
kick you out.
Yeah, my computer decided to update.
They've all been very.
But you know what, it came out really nice, it came out really, my picture on my screen is a lot brighter. It looks really good. I'll listen to your other one.
Yeah, you give me a copy.
Okay.
I've already seen it, so sorry about you.
Yeah, got that popping style, I had to get it out.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff in my phone.
Jeez. You said cut the sleeve and everything. Those kids. Jeez. I think I must have catch it too.
I think that's really like what they talked about on the, multi-gen. And that was some of the things that I brought up to them too, accessibility, like the accidents, people park with, and I come from the goes there.
They spent a little time thinking about it. I gotta.
There's not anything that is quite a, but even if you come, it's coming out of the field. We go downhill.
Yeah. Well, we designed it, but the ramp was that direction. And I think that's still viable, I'll show you that one thing.
Maybe, if you go up, there's still that ramp right there.
Yeah, but we just have to get the ramp into this to it. So we designed that ramp to be built, it's just, you know, who's got no time to build these things?
Very, very cute. All the nerds went crazy over Baby Yoda. I don't know if you've seen that. It's the new Mandalorian Star Wars series on Apple TV. It's like all the nerds on Twitter.
So the man from the heater had to come in, he actually had to do something to this one, he had to go into your office.
Yeah. Domingo, he's good at getting the old gas heaters running, which is got a lot of value, but he kind of sucks at actually making the modern ones work. That's okay.
The thing I says that when you do, sometimes when you mess with the thermostats, you blow the fuse. So these kids are only gonna be here for 1 more week.
Yep.
Well, that's when the project, the trail will be finished, right?
Yep.
You
And
did a
we'll
good
be able to
job.
get some more sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's been exhausting.
Mm-hmm. There was 9 here right now, there's gonna be 15,
Just 11 total.
11 total. So this is what Jim does, like when he goes to other countries?
Yeah,
In
sort
his
of.
younger days?
Yeah, that's sort of what he does. I did. Jim was actually in charge of an entire country. It was these kids' boss's boss.
Wow.
He was in charge of Nicaragua after they were in touch with him.
so I print them out, but they don't. I go, okay.
Well, neighbors would want to tell us more than we are, so.
Mm-hmm. I told him I was gonna advertise it in the paper, and then they're ready to, when people start coming in. So we're gonna put those other lights in here too? Is it gonna need as many, do you think? 15?
I don't know. The ones you put in the mayor's office, they're not too bright the way they are.
They don't have an adjuster either like ours.
Well, we're gonna have to come out. Adjourn and go back here.
Yeah, it's already gonna be 40 minutes. Do Mr. Cooper, keep track of that? I'm not gonna lie. I'll get in trouble.
Video's still running.
Huh?
Video's still running, I'll chop this up in a minute. Guys leave it running.
Shut them off and go.
I don't remember exactly what 8 o'clock, what time.
This is 40 minutes. According to this clock, it's already like 37.
Yeah, I don't really know what time it is.
I'll check my phone.
I got 38, we got 2 minutes.
Your phone will work, 2 minute call?
Yeah, sure.
Wasn't there 11 of them?
Yeah.
One left. Is there one missing tonight?
I think they would have been, all of them have been sick and turned.
Okay.
I always look at the agenda and I think, this needs to go quick.
This is our longest meeting we've had in a very, very long time.
I agree with you.
We had a lot of presentations
Yeah.
and kids.
All right, is everybody up here? We have a motion to return to open session. Day 46, second by Councilmember Lopez, all in favor? Aye, any opposed? Motion carries. We're now in open session. Council, after a positive debate, I'd like a motion to allow Councilmember Navarrete and Vice Mayor Alonso to negotiate a new contract with Prior. Mr. Statico, there's a, I mean,
Is that have action? Yeah.
yep, because we're saying that he's passing evaluation, so. Councilmember Armitage has a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Lopez, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, and do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
First and second by Armitage and Lopez, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, 8:47. Good meeting, everyone. If you want to look at the book, it's right there. Back around. They sent it to